everybody, just wanted to get on here and make a video about a question that came in just a little bit ago. The sun will be out of my eyes in just a minute, but I had a parent ask me, they're like, hey, so how do I control where my kids are watching, who they're talking to? In fact, the question was posed, how do you, or they asked me, they said, do you agree with dating? And how old would you say that you're okay with your kids dating? And it's an interesting question, because we start putting a time limit on things, just like driving, or when they're an adult, or for religious aspects when baptism happens, things along those lines. Like we're really connected with what timeline are we going to make this child eligible to date, because they even broke it down to, okay, well, if dating is at a certain age, how about how do you feel about kissing or holding hands, or single dating? And I thought it was a great question to bring to everybody, to all the hive mates, and talk to you about what my answer was when it comes to kids dating. So first off, there's a couple parts to it. One of them is, I know that I've got, in my cultural upbringing, dating was, or is referred to as kind of, you're supposed to wait to date, and we're talking group dating, any of these other ones before you're 16 is pretty much not something you're supposed to do. So I can recognize that that's a part of my culture. And I know that influences this, because a part of me is like, yeah, the age of 16, but I'll also give you some reasoning why I thought that the age of 16 with my kids would be when I would encourage dating versus maybe not encouraging it so much. And a big reason that is because I talk with these younger kids. I'll do therapy with younger children, and they're like, oh, we just started dating. We're exclusive. And I'm like, you're 11. What do you do? Like, sometimes they get their parents to drop them off at the mall and they could go hang out. I mean, I guess you can go on dates like that, but it's heavily based on what the parents are going to be doing and school. So at age 16, all of a sudden, you can start driving. They can kind of get their own ways. So part of me is in this space of going, hey, this is there. But that's just the gospel of Braxton. That's my own thought process on that. But I do think somewhere around the age of 15, 16, where you've got these teenagers that are, first of all, I mean, the second part of this is at the age of 15, 16, we start losing control over what and where and when these kids can do things. They're only 2 years away from being an adult and actually making their own decisions anyways. So by you saying, you can't date till you're married, or you can't date until you're 18, we're fighting a battle you can't win. You just can't win it. They can date in high school. They can date in secret. We have to be able to be aware that there's certain aspects of life, especially of your child's life, that no matter how much you push, they get to make those decisions. You are not going to be there unless you have them chained to a wall, which is also illegal. And then control exactly what they're doing. So those are my personal thoughts on that. But as a therapist, we start moving into, okay, so first off, what can we control, and how are we going to help maintain that control, or those thought processes? And then two, what's the value that we can address here? What are the values that we want to instill? So first off, he asked about, okay, when should a kid kiss? Well, I don't know of any way besides saying, hey, we don't want you to engage in kissing or hand-holding until such and such an age. And even then, the kids are going to do what they want to when they're in a private situation with someone they're attracted to. They may follow your guidance, they may not. The main thing is, here as parents, I want you to hear this, because when we're able to to practice these values and address what their experiences are, we can best help shape what we want them to experience. So if a child comes in, they're at the age of 12, you said don't date until the age of 16, or don't kiss. There's this thought process that as a child comes in and is sad, and they approach you, and they're like, Mom, this kid broke my heart. And you're like, oh my gosh, you're 2 years younger than what we even said. I told you not to date. Yeah, we can go that route. You could definitely say, I told you so. And you could have your own like party and we're like, yeah, I'm the parent, I'm so smart. And in reality, what that teaches the child is, when I screw up, I can't approach mom and dad because all they're gonna do is gloat about it. Do you want the gloating win or do you want the connection? Do you want to really teach your kid something? So the way we change that is we change the word we change the process from, I'm so smart, to, what happened? What about that broke your heart? Well, we were dating. I thought we were in love. That we were gonna be together forever. And I'm not making this up. And you remember maybe just a little bit of it. Your friends, or maybe even you. But that I work with high school kids, and that's exactly what goes on. I can't tell you how many kids said they were gonna go the rounds and break the odds or beat the odds, and then a month and a half later, they're heartbroken, everyone's cheated on each other. It happens all the time. So you know that, I know that, but when we can get together and not say, I told you so, but go, what about that experience would you change for next time? I wonder what we could do for the next experience that you can feel more comfortable with. So I just had a kiss that I didn't really enjoy and I didn't like it, and I didn't really want to kiss, but I did at the same time, and it wasn't everything I thought. And it was gross. Well, tell me about that. Tell me about what was gross to you. What would you do if you could change it? What would you change? All those questions allow for this child to look at it in a constructive way, to go, what did I like? What didn't I like? That felt coercive. That felt non-consensual, or that felt consensual, but then it wasn't what I expected or what I thought. I want to be in a relationship with someone that this. I want to kiss someone that. And then you can start helping them identify how do they have conversations with these individuals that they're going to engage in kissing with or going to date, so that you can better help them to avoid heartbreak, or at least help them be able to make decisions that they can stick by. Those are values about dating and kissing and hand-holding that supersede how old they should be. Because if you've got a 14-year-old that can do these things, they're going to make different choices than a 14-year-old that doesn't make these conversations or doesn't have these conversations. As well as they're also going to make a different decision than maybe even a 17-year-old that's just finally reached the 17-year-old age, that can now date, or that you've now allowed to kiss, and they haven't had these conversations. They may find themselves in a really rough situation if we just say, all right, this magical age now allows you to blank. We already see this with drinking or smoking or being an adult. So you're 18, you're an adult, you can make all your decisions. Do we see every 18-year-old as the best person to make their own decisions? No. Do we see every 19-year-old making the best decision about being able to buy cigarettes? No. How about drinking? Especially if we talk about drinking. Every 21-year-old know how to drink? Nah. But if we talk to them about it beforehand and we can help explore them, there's some accustomed to it of like, what do you want to experience? This is what a hangover is. Things along those lines. It's no different than talking to a child about what they want their experience to be when they kiss somebody, when they make out, when they date, who they want to date. So those are some things. Those are a way to be able to start this conversation or have this conversation so that you can open up communication skills with them, talk with them about what their experiences are, what they want to experience, and allow them and help them to have and develop their dating experience the way that they'd like to date. But I thought I'd hop on here and tell you all a little bit about that, so that we can continue this conversation. It's so important, and such a good question. I get so many parents asking me when they should allow their kids to date. And again, if I can recap, yes, we can date, or you can set a day, but don't think and don't fall under that thought process that you now are able to control exactly what they're doing. So I hope y'all have a great day. I hope that everything that turns out well for you. Especially go out there and have conversations with your kids. You can do this. This is so important. You're doing great work. I honor each and every one of you parents that are having these conversations. They're not easy. You're not taking the easy way out, and you are really affecting and helping your child in the long run. So thanks, Hive Mates. We'll see you later. Keep the buzz alive.